If your mind feels like it never shuts off, if you're constantly thinking, worrying, replaying, this video might explain why and how to step out of it. What if the voice in your head isn't actually who you are? And what if realizing that is the moment that you wake up? Hi, I'm Anna, and today I want to talk about an idea from A New Earth by Eckhart Tolle that completely changed how I see myself and honestly how I see humanity. This isn't just a book review, this is an invitation to notice something within you. So if you've ever felt trapped in your thoughts, if you've ever felt like your mind is running your life, this might resonate deeply. What A New Earth is really about is Eckhart Tolle talks about what he calls the current state of humanity. Most people, he says, are still living almost like sleepwalkers, completely identified with their thoughts. He calls this identification the ego. And the part that impacted me the most was how he explains this using philosophy. So Descartes references René Descartes, the founder of modern philosophy. Descartes believed he had found an absolute truth. I think, therefore I am. So at first glance, that sounds empowering. But Eckhart points out something subtle and dangerous. By equating thinking with being, Descartes unintentionally reinforced the ego. So the idea that who I am is the constant stream of thoughts in my head. Most of humanity, Eckhart says, is still living in the Descartes mode. And before this feels too philosophical, notice something right now. You are listening to my words. And at the same time, there is something in you that is aware that you are listening. That awareness is not thinking. Nearly 300 years later, Jean-Paul Sartre looked deeper and he realized something profound. The consciousness that says I am is not the consciousness that thinks. I'll say that again. The consciousness that says I am is not the consciousness that thinks. This is where the book cracked me open. The awareness of thinking is not part of the thought. It is still, quiet, present. That awareness exists whether thoughts are happening or not. So if you've ever had this experience, this is about to click for you right now. And if you haven't, listen closely because you probably have. So, Eckhart uses the metaphor of a dream to explain the ego. The ego is the dreamer. The thoughts, emotions, stories, identities. While you're inside the dream, everything feels real. The fear feels real. The pain feels real. The suffering feels real. But then something happens. Have you ever had a dream, especially like a nightmare, where you suddenly know you are dreaming? Or inside the dream, you're telling yourself, wake up, this isn't real. Maybe you try to pinch yourself, maybe you try to scream, because you know this is only a dream and you don't want to keep suffering. That moment is awareness. Eckhart says this is exactly what awakening is. When you realize I am dreaming, you are no longer just the dreamer. You become the awareness observing the dream. The dream doesn't disappear immediately, but it loses its absolute power over you. So in life, the dream is the ego, the constant thinking, the stories about who you are, the past, the future. And awakening is realizing I am not lost in this. There is something in me that is aware of all of it. That awareness doesn't suffer the way the ego does. That is the new Earth. Not a new planet, but a new state of consciousness. So what this book gave me wasn't answers. It gave me space. Space between who I am and what my mind is doing. And that space changes everything. So if this resonated with you, you're not alone. This is the kind of content I'll be sharing here. Books, ideas, reflections that gently wake us up. And if you want to explore this path with me, I'd love for you to subscribe. And if you're curious how this connects to manifestation, presence, and creating a life that actually feels aligned, watch the next video, because awareness is where everything begins.